Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to this video. So in this video I'm going to be talking about The Flash Season 3. So right now it's in its mid-season hiatus, so it's going to be off for a month. It's going to come back in January. But I decided to make a video basically my thoughts on the whole mid-season from episodes 1 through 9, just basically talking about some key points, just getting my overall thoughts out there. I've been enjoying The Flash ever since it started back in 2014, and it's just a show I've come to really love, and it's one of my favorite so far out of DC's TV lineup. Just off the top, I want to let you guys know that I'm going to be talking about some spoilers in this video, so if you're all caught up with The Flash up till Season 3's mid-finale, you guys can stay here. If you guys aren't caught up, you can stay and watch anyway. But before we dive into Season 3, here's my quick recap of basically the end of Season 2 of The Flash. End of Season 2. Barry stops Zoom. Zoom is taken away by Time Race. Barry, being upset with the death of his father at the hands of Zoom, decides to go back into the past and actually save his mom, thus altering the timeline completely. Thus, saving his mom, we start with Season 3, and here we have Flashpoint. So basically with the beginning of Season 3, we are dropped right in the middle of Flashpoint. Barry is living his normal life. He has his mom and his dad with him, so now he's living a happy life, while this other Flash, who we all know as Wally, is running around saving the city from his version of the Reverse Flash, the Rival. Barry still has his powers, but is actually just going about his life normally, running into Iris, actually getting a date with her for the first time, and just continuing going through the motions. However, as the episode goes on, we suddenly realize that Barry is starting to lose his memories and forgetting his whole life previously and the fact that he has powers. Not to mention that everyone's life is basically ruined because of Flashpoint. Wally is the new Flash, going by Kid Flash. With the help of his sister Iris, they are battling crime. However, for Joe, on the other hand, he's basically a drunk. His life has taken a turn for the worse. Cisco is living large and is actually the richest man living in Central City, which I find hilarious. And then we have Caitlin, who is actually living her life as an eye doctor. So everyone's life is basically different thanks to Barry. Meanwhile, he's got Eobard locked up in this cage, so that way he can't escape and change anything that Barry has basically undone. So some crazy shit happens, Wally gets injured, Barry finally defeats the Rival, and with Wally not being able to heal with his regenerative abilities, much like Barry is able to with his Flash powers, Barry suddenly realizes that he needs to basically change everything back to the way it was. So we have Barry basically accepting the fact that he has to let Eobard out so that we can kill his mom and set everything back to the way it was. However, once we get to the end of the episode, we realize that since Barry changed the timeline, nothing is what it was anymore. There are small cracks in the timeline, and Barry fucked up once again. Barry, why do you keep doing this? So now we're back into the new Flashpoint timeline, and we discover we have a new main villain that we have to worry about, Dr. Alchemy. So the whole mid-season, basically leading up to the mid-season, we're basically speculating who Dr. Alchemy is. Who could he be? Like, who's the man behind the mask? It turns out it's Julian. Really? It's Julian? That was probably the most obvious person to expect to be Dr. Alchemy. I was even sitting there watching the show being like, it's too obvious, guys. There's no way Julian Albert, Draco Malfoy, is Dr. Alchemy. Turns out it was, but after a while I just stopped caring about it. I was just like, okay, it is what it is. Let's just move on. Let's see what the season has to offer. The one thing I do like about it, though, is the fact that Dr. Alchemy is actually taking the events of Flashpoint and bringing them into the new timeline. So everyone is starting to remember that their previous lives, if they had powers, they're remembering that they had powers, and it's all molding together to basically create a big problem for Barry, and it's actually making Flashpoint actually have dire consequences, and it makes the fact that Barry went back and changed time actually significant basically to everything that's happening this season. But as we come to realize, Dr. Alchemy isn't the main villain behind all of this. He's actually just a vessel. He's just a person that is following his main leader, who turns out to be a Savitar. So Savitar is actually our main villain for this season, for this Flashpoint arc, and I have to say, I am really, really loving Savitar this season. So now we have Savitar, who I have to admit is a really cool looking villain. We actually have a full CGI main villain this season, and he is just intimidating and overall has a great presence, and actually feels threatening when he's on screen and actually fighting Barry Allen. But it comes as no surprise that the main villain, who's also a speedster, is still faster than the Flash. You guys remember in the opening when Barry is just constantly repeating the lines that he is the fastest man alive?
My name is Barry Allen, and I am the fastest man alive.
Yeah, like that. Barry hasn't been the fastest speedster in all 3 seasons. You had Reverse Flash, who was faster than him in all of Season 1, and then you have Zoom come in Season 2, who's even more faster than the Reverse Flash, and now we have Savitar, who's basically square root the Speed Force or whatever. He is just basically a speedster to speedsters. Because even at one point in the mid-season finale, you can see Savitar literally playing pinball with Barry as he's fighting him in the Star Labs, like, speed cannon run.
Cisco, bow to your god.
What is happening?
We can't see it, just like at Alchemy's lair.
Savitar's loose.
Hey, JJ, you're still too badly hurt.
And the funny thing about that clip is that you see Barry getting knocked back and forth the whole time as Iris, Joe, and Jay Garrick are basically watching, and they don't even seem that worried. They're just like, Jay, you're injured. Calm down. Don't worry. We'll handle this. Meanwhile, Barry's getting the shit beat out of him in the middle of the cortex. But overall, I'm very interested to see where they take Savitar and his character this season. I'm really hoping, or at least wondering, if we're actually going to get an unmasked and see who's actually the man behind Savitar. And it's really going to be interesting to see how they take him down this season. And this brings me to the man that I actually want to talk about, who is HR.
Remember, dodge and weave.
It's kind of funny to think about because he's always seen with the drumstick in his hand. But the one thing that I love about the Flash TV show is actually the actor of Tom Cavanaugh. He's been with us since season 1, and he's basically been a character or an actor that has basically made the show for me in a way. He's like the constant that remains throughout all the 3 seasons that kind of grounds everything. Not to mention that he's played like at least 4 characters in the show, because we have the fake Wells / Eobard Thawne in season 1, but also got introduced to the real Wells in season 1. And then season 2 comes along, and now he's playing Earth 2 Harrison Wells, codenamed Harry, and now we're here in season 3 where we got introduced to Earth 19 Harrison Wells HR. So my question for everyone out there is, how are you guys receiving HR this season? I know it's a different character that Tom Cavanaugh is playing, even though it's Wells' appearance, but it's a different Earth. It's Earth 19 Wells. How are you guys basically feeling about HR as a new character? So in the mid-season finale, we've basically learned 2 things. One thing that we know right now is that Iris in a future timeline is going to die by the hands of Savitar. But as Jay Garrick has told us, that timeline has not been written yet. It's a possibility that could happen in the future, and Barry actually has a chance to stop it. So the question remains is whether Barry is actually going to stop those events from happening by the end of the season, or will it just alter it slightly to where we're going to see someone else in that position to where Barry's going to have to witness not Iris, but someone else in that position die. And the second thing that the mid-season finale left us with is actually the Savitar prophecy that he gave to our main characters. So what he basically told them was that one will fall, one will betray them, and then one's going to suffer a fate worse than death. So what do you guys think is going to fulfill those 3 prophecies right there? I really want to know what you guys have to think about this. This is something that I've given a lot of thought to. Just one that I'm willing to throw out there right now is what happens if we have it to where, because we already know Iris is the one that dies in that future timeline. So if that was to still happen, we know that Iris would fall. My bet for who would actually be the person to betray them, I would say Wally right now, and then I would say Joe's going to be the person to suffer a fate worse than death. Because right now Wally has the potential to basically turn evil for the second half of the season now that he has his powers. And for Joe, not only would he actually suffer a betrayal of his own son giving up information to Savitar and hurting Barry, but you would also have Iris dying in the crossfire. So Joe, in that sense, would actually be suffering a fate worse than death, knowing that 2 of his kids are basically dead to him. One actually physically being dead, and then one actually betraying everyone that Joe has come to love. Overall, guys, this has been a really enjoyable season. I've really been enjoying the 9 episodes we've had so far, and I'm really looking forward to the remaining parts of the season once The Flash returns in January. So what I really want to know right now is what you guys have to say. I want you guys to leave comments down below about any speculations that you guys have for some of the stuff that I mentioned here. And plus, if there's anything I did not mention in this video, please leave in the comments down below as well, and we can talk about it further down there. I just want to let you guys know that I'm going to be adding content as the days go on, so if you want to keep up with the content I'm providing for on this channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button right down there. So until you see me in my next video, I'll talk to you guys all later. Alright, see you guys.